The curses of Deuteronomy 28 came upon the Israelites in Israel after they broke the laws of God. They are the sole purpose of Israel's downfall as a nation. But the so-called black Hebrew Israelites are trying to claim nearly all the curses came upon the Israelites outside of Israel, centuries after the Roman siege in 70 AD. The so-called black Hebrew Israelites are wrong because the Israelites had to have broke God's laws in Israel when these curses came upon them. God said in Deuteronomy 28:15, "Then all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you." Overtake. As I said, these curses of Deuteronomy 28 are the sole purpose of Israel's downfall as a nation. The curses of Deuteronomy 28 do not match the so-called black Hebrew Israelites' claims. Nowhere does it say the Israelites would flee the siege far into Africa for a long period of time, like 1,000 years, before any of these curses coming upon them. Now, I have shown some of the so-called black Hebrew Israelites how the curses match the Roman wars and the Roman siege of Jerusalem, of Israel, and the Old Testament, the exiles of Babylon, and etc. And they have referred to Deuteronomy 28:46 that says, "They shall be upon you for a sign of warning to all nations, and for a wonder in upon your descendants forever." And they have tried to claim "and upon your descendants forever" is talking about the curses being upon their descendants, as in happening to their descendants until God returned them back to Israel. But I have one question for you people. Would it be forever until God returned the Israelites back to Israel? No. Okay, God said He will return the Israelites back to Israel, so that would not be forever. Okay, the key word here is forever. Okay, take the Roman wars and the Roman siege. Okay, take the Roman siege for instance. The Roman siege has been upon the Jews since 70 AD, but it has not been continuing to happen to them. Okay, but it's been upon them in their hearts and in their mind spiritually, and a part of their history. And that's what it's talking about, being upon their descendants forever, and that's the only way it would be possible. Similar things to some of the curses of Deuteronomy 28 did happen to blacks in slavery. The so-called black Hebrew Israelites are trying to claim no one matches the curses of Deuteronomy 28 better than them after the Israelites left Israel. I don't completely agree with that, but if that's correct, that's because not all of the curses of Deuteronomy 28 happened to the Israelites after they left Israel. Okay? Most of the curses of Deuteronomy 28 are the sole purpose of Israel's downfall as a nation, and came upon and happened to the Israelites in Israel before they left Israel. Okay? How do you people think how do you people think Israel was taken down? Okay? These curses are a reason that the Israelites was taken down as a nation. They are a reason for the Israelites' downfall as a nation. Okay? Throughout the curses of Deuteronomy 28, it refers to the Israelites' land. Deuteronomy 28:52, God said, "In the land which the Lord God gave them." The land that the Lord God gave the Israelites was Israel. meaning these curses would come upon the Israelites in Israel, not a land outside of Israel 1,000 years after they left Israel. God gave the Israelites the curses when He gave them the blessings in the covenant when He gave them Israel. In Deuteronomy 28:52, it says, "And they shall precede you in all your towns throughout all your land which the Lord your God has given you." The land that God gave the Israelites was Israel, meaning this nation that Deuteronomy 28:49 is referring to would precede them in Israel, in the land which the Lord God gave them. Okay? The Lord God gave them Israel, meaning this nation would precede them in Israel. And so Deuteronomy 28:49 got to be referring to the Roman Empire, which came from a different continent, which would be from afar, which came from Europe, which would be at one end of the earth. Okay, because there's a big ocean in between Europe and the Americas. And Alaska is almost connected to Russia and once was. Okay, that's where Eskimos came from. Okay, and the Americas is actually on that side of the world, and there's a big ocean in between the Americas and Europe and Africa. Okay, and as swift as the eagle flies. The Roman Empire would not have been so powerful if they was not as swift as an eagle flies, because it's not talking about a nation symbol. It's talking about them being as swift as an eagle flies, the way they conduct themselves. Okay, the Roman Empire was swift as an eagle flies with their ships through the Mediterranean Sea and in combat. Okay, they conquered Egypt. Okay, the Roman Empire conquered Egypt. That's how swift they was. Okay, and this same Roman Empire is the one that God brought against the Israelites in Israel. Okay, that sieged them in 70 AD. Okay, which is dated known history. Okay, the Roman Empire is a nation that God brought from afar, from the end of the earth, against the Israelites in the land that the Lord God gave them. That was Israel. Now the so-called Black Hebrew Israelites have tried to use Deuteronomy 28:68 and say it's referring to them being brought from Africa to America as slaves. But the verse says, "Bring thee back into Egypt again by ships." It even says, "By the way thereabout I spoke unto thee." By the way thereabout back into Egypt. Okay? Again by ships. It does not say bondage. You so-called Black Hebrew Israelites are twisting it. It's two different words used for Egypt and bondage in every Bible. In the NIV, in the King James, even in the Hebrew. It's two different words used for Egypt and bondage. And nowhere does the Bible call Egypt the house of bondage. It only refers to the house of bondage that was inside Egypt. As it says, "Brought thee from the land of Egypt, comma, out of the house of bondage." Okay? I've never been to prison, but I'm going to make an example. Say I came out of the Kentucky State Prison. I would say I came from Kentucky, comma, out of the Kentucky State Prison. Now, I would not be calling Kentucky a prison. I would be referring to the prison inside Kentucky. Okay? I know proper English, and the King James Bible is proper English. And that's why you so-called Black Hebrew Israelites cannot confuse me. Okay? And only the Jews that was captured by the Roman Empire in the Roman siege was shipped to Egypt, where they filled the slave markets in the house of bondage inside the land of Egypt. Okay? And also the Roman Empire had rule over Egypt in 70 AD. Okay?